WCBI News at 10 starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Quentin Smith. Tax season is just around the corner, and if you have unpaid fines, your state tax return may not go as far as you had hoped. A state law passed in 2018 allows cities and counties to authorize the debt collection set-off. Courtney Ann Jackson goes to Vicksburg to see how this plan will go into action.
The city of Vicksburg operates on a $30 million budget. For perspective, it takes around $4 million to operate the police department. And there's more than that that's owed to the city right now.
We got about $4,200,000 worth of unpaid fine out there, and we try to use every means necessary to collect them. We got officers out there working round the clock. A lot of these folks have gotten traffic tickets, left town, and got assessed a fine and left town, and we don't know where they are. So this would allow us to at least capture some of it.
City officials are giving the green light to exercise a plan allowed under legislation signed into law last year. It will let the city go after state income tax refunds to recover those unpaid fines. Vicksburg isn't going after all the money due to the city. They're starting with the highest 50 amounts of unpaid court fines, totaling just more than $90,000.
$90,000 against $4 million is $90,000 that we didn't have.
They've decided to enter into an agreement with Municipal Intercept Company, LLC, to submit those debts to the Department of Revenue on behalf of the city. But some residents are skeptical.
I could understand a little bit, like if it's from, years and years back, something like that. Like tens of thousands, something like that. In that area, I could see that now.
Because people have other things they have to handle with their tax money. I know they should handle their fine too, but they have bigger things too.
Mayor George Flaggs makes this counterpoint.
I take whatever we can rather than raise anybody's taxes.
Courtney Ann Jackson, WCBI News.
A long abandoned factory building right here in Columbus could be seeing some big changes. City spokesman Joe Dillon confirms a demolition permit has been applied for the old American Bosch building. At this time, the city is not aware of a targeted date for the demolition. There were some environmental concerns that needed to be addressed before any work could begin. The plant was first built in the 1950s. It changed ownership over time. Its last occupant was Johnson Electric, but the building has been vacant for well over a decade. A Pickens County family is mourning the deaths of 3 relatives who were killed last Friday near Aliceville in a horrific car accident. Tim Reed with CBS affiliate WIAT in Birmingham has more on this story.
Very heartaching, sad.
Doris Cole is heartbroken. The fatal car accident claimed the lives of her 2 brothers, 41-year-old Jeffrey Armstrong and 42-year-old Horace Armstrong. Her cousin, 43-year-old Joe Knox, was also killed in the horrific crash.
It's a heartaching pain. I tell anyone that it's very heartaching. It's not nice, I don't wish this on no one. To lose 2 siblings at the same time.
2 other family members were also in the car but survived and are recovering at UAB Hospital. State troopers tell CBS 42 the victims who died were thrown from the car after the vehicle left the road, struck a ditch, and flipped over several times. Troopers say speed and alcohol appeared to be factors. No one was wearing seatbelts.
As people ride in your car, also make sure that they buckle up. Your passengers, even the ones in the back seat.
Don't want nothing like this to happen again. I promise you, be careful.
Doris Cole tells us she doesn't want any other families to experience the pain that she and her family are feeling. She says her brothers and cousin were good people. That's what she wants people to remember.
Harry, Jeff, and Joe, they always had a smile on their face. Whatever you asked them, they would do it.
So my heart goes out to the mom, even the surviving siblings.
Family members of the victims are now in the process of making funeral arrangements. In Pickens County, Tim Reed, CBS News.
We continue to have some light showers push through the region this evening into tonight. As we look at satellite and radar, just a few little blips coming into the Golden Triangle down Highway 25 into parts of South Mississippi. Nothing concerning going on here over the next 24 hours. We are warm and mild, really, too, seeing upper 60s to the south, low 60s and upper 50s in our region. Some cooler air off to the north and to the west. It will take some time for that cold air you see out in Oklahoma City to make it this way. Now, of course, we do have the chance for some strong to severe storms. I've got new updates on our timing, as well as a look at our threats and the impacts coming up later on in the show.
The U.S. nearly loses its measles elimination status, and thousands of people suffer life-threatening lung-related illnesses due to vaping. CBS News Chief Medical Correspondent Dr. John LaPook has a look at the year's top health stories.
More than 2,400 people were hospitalized with lung injuries in an ongoing outbreak associated with vaping in the U.S. More than 50 people died.
I didn't think it could be that bad, and it really almost killed me.
Federal health officials linked the chemical vitamin E acetate to the outbreak, but say there might be more than one cause. More than 1,200 cases of measles were reported, the largest number since 1992. Most cases were linked to outbreaks in New York.
The outbreaks in New York are being fueled by myths and misinformation that is leading people to not get vaccinated.
2018-2019 flu season was the longest in a decade. Federal health officials say 2 types of viruses surfaced at different times, extending the season. An E. coli outbreak prompted a CDC warning on romaine lettuce from the Salinas, California region.
The E. coli can cause an intestinal illness, prominently diarrhea, but also abdominal cramps and just feeling very, very poorly.
The makers of Zantac recalled the popular heartburn drug. Generic versions were also pulled. The FDA is investigating after tests showed small amounts of a probable carcinogen. With more than 130 people dying every day in the U.S. from opioid overdoses, federal health officials announced more than $1.8 billion in funding to states to fight the crisis. A CDC report showed the HPV vaccine could prevent about 92% of cancers caused by the human papillomavirus, and research published in Pediatrics backed up the vaccine's safety. Dozens of cases of Eastern equine encephalitis, or EEE, were reported, making it the worst season since the CDC began monitoring for the mosquito-borne disease. 15 people died. The FDA approved the first drug for women with postpartum depression. The one-time intravenous treatment requires a 3-night hospital stay.
I noticed a huge difference. Those intrusive thoughts I told you about were gone, and they never came back.
An FDA advisory panel recommended the first treatment for food allergies. Research shows the oral immunotherapy helped 67% of children and teens with severe peanut allergy tolerate the equivalent of about 2 peanuts. And the FDA issued their strongest warning on some popular sleep medications, requiring a black box label on medications including Ambien, Lunesta, and Sonata to alert patients to potentially dangerous behaviors. That's a look at the year's top health stories. Dr. John LaPook, CBS News.
And now turning our focus over to weather. Jacob, it was a quiet and calm day, huh?
Yeah, we've had a stretch of quiet and calm weather, but unfortunately that looks to come to an end this weekend. Already seeing our next storm system winding up here across the Great Plains. There's the upper level low and lots of storms, even some winter weather across the Great Plains. The chance for us is to get some strong to severe storms into the day on Sunday here locally. Right here after the break, I'll let you know the timing, the threats, and we'll take a look at your full 7-day forecast.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with meteorologist Jacob Dickey.
Well, as we take a look outside right now, some spots are getting just a few light showers in places. Other spots are staying pretty dry so far. We see a little light rain showing up in West Point, some drizzle in Starkville. Nothing yet here in Columbus, but the chance is there for some showers area-wide. Here is a look at clouds and radar right now. Some light showers carrying from south to north, just west of Columbus here by the airport coming up towards Highway 45 into West Point. Of course, Starkville with a little bit of drizzle, even some drizzle and showers down by Louisville. Overall, though, a very calm and quiet night coming for us. We'll drop our temperatures down into the middle 50s out there with some drizzle, fog, some passing showers continuing throughout the nighttime, 56 the low in Columbus. Heading into tomorrow, the chances there for more scattered showers. I think better odds will come into the afternoon and evening hours, but I won't rule out some scattered showers at any point during the day. We'll stay mostly cloudy with temperatures getting into the mid to upper 60s for highs. 68 will be the high in Kingville and in Ethelsville, 68 in Hubbardsville. We'll still see some of that drizzle and showers pushing on through the area. 70 in French Camp, 69 in Bell Fountain, and in New Hope, 67 in Mayhew. And then to the north, New Holka getting up to 67, 68 in Buena Vista, 69 in Shannon, Manhatchee getting up to 68 for our Saturday afternoon. Now, of course, we've talked about the chance for some strong to severe storms here moving forward. We have a level 1 threat for the timing from 6 a.m. until 9 p.m. on Sunday. I really think late morning into the afternoon and evening is the better chance that we'll see moving forward. Strong straight line winds would be the main threat with this line of storms coming on in. The tornado threat is low but very conditional based on some factors. I won't rule out a tornado or two somewhere into the region. We'll have to wait and see how it all shakes out. Here's what Saturday looks like on future cast. Notice again just a few passing showers and a mostly cloudy sky during the day. Overnight Saturday into Sunday morning, I think the storms will hold off for the most part, but notice by sunrise 6 a.m. a few spotty showers are already into the area here. I don't think we'll have to worry about this. Instead, we'll watch this line of showers and storms off to our west, and notice as we get into the morning hours it pushes into our area here. Timing's still not quite a lock on here, but I agree with the idea that once we get late morning to early afternoon, wherever those storms are, we'll start to see them increase in intensity. That likely occurs along and east of the Natchez Trace Parkway, and then that carries off into West Alabama after sunset. Now, we'll have to watch some of the instability in the atmosphere here. You notice as we get into Sunday during the day, some more instability sneaks on in. The more instability, the better the storms will be organized. So we want to watch and keep that down if possible. But with that timing coming later and later, becoming more of a Sunday daytime event, there may be just a little more instability that can work with some of this low-level energy that also increases overhead. Notice as we get into the afternoon Sunday, some of that low-level energy starts to lock right over us here. We'll watch and see if they can couple together to give us the chance for some of those stronger storms. In the meantime, highs in the upper 60s and low 70s on Sunday. A bit cooler and dry Monday and Tuesday.
So we can't get into the new year without a little rain first,
Hey,
huh?
we're having more 2019. It's been a year of storms for us, hasn't it?
I know, that's Mother Nature for you, huh?
It sure is.
All right, thank you so much, Jacob. Are you trying to kick a bad habit? Or what about working a little self-improvement? Do you have plans for a better you next year? We take a look at what some people have to say when we come back.
You're watching WCBI News at 10 with Quentin Smith.
Welcome back. New Year's Day is a time for looking back and looking forward. For many, it's a chance to assess some bad habits and behaviors and work to replace them with better ones. Our DeAndrea Turner asks local residents what changes they want to make in the new year.
Most resolutions include hitting the gym or cutting out a bad habit. But as this decade changes, some people are looking at ways to change with it.
2020, I'm looking forward to traveling a little bit more.
Cheryl Andrews already has some of her resolutions planned.
We have a trip planned for Japan. I'm taking some of my students on a trip in May. Then I have a girls' trip to Hawaii.
While Andrews is going to spend time traveling, Linda Cuvion McGrath's goals is to spend time on the sidelines to cheer on her grandchildren.
So we're at football games, baseball games. We're going to start basketball in January.
Karis Brightwell is welcoming a new life and says her goal is to immerse herself in motherhood.
We're going to be having our third child in March, and something about the third child is making me embrace motherhood a lot more than the first and second. I'm looking forward to just embracing motherhood fully.
According to Parade magazine, the top goals for the new year are losing weight, eating better, and sticking to an exercise. Managing finances and even looking for a new job are also high on the list. And the one we all should work on, managing stress.
That was our DeAndrea Turner reporting there. Now, another goal from the magazine is to set aside some time for yourself in 2020. State continues preparations for their matchup with Louisville in the Music City Bowl. We'll have more on that coming up next in sports.
Here's WCBI Sports with Chris Bolton.
Bowl week continues for Mississippi State as today marks the day 2 of practices in Nashville as they prepare for Louisville. Now the Cardinals, they have some playmakers on note that State's D will have to look out for. Running back Javian Hawkins rushed for over 1,400 yards this season, while the speedster at wide receiver, Shatarius Atwell, he reeled in over 1,100 yards and 11 TDs. State will have to be locked in on both sides of the ball if they plan on coming home to Starkville with the win.
Fast team, they play hard every snap. Feisty group that like I said, likes to play hard. So we're really looking forward to the opportunity to play against them.
Very explosive and balanced on offense. They run the ball very well. 1,000-yard rusher, 1,000-yard receiver. Quarterback's a dual threat. A lot of inside and outside zone. Defensively play an odd front. They're going to pressure you a lot. Mix up the coverages, but to go from, I believe it was 2-10 to 7-5 in a bowl game, and I think Coach was Coach of the Year in the SEC, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, they're very well coached. They're talented, and they're going to be motivated just like us.
Alabama football touched down in Orlando, Florida yesterday as they get ready for their New Year's Day showdown in the Citrus Bowl. This is the first season the Tide won't be in the college football playoff since its inception. They'll be taking on another college football blue blood, the Michigan Wolverines. Now, this could be the last time Alabama fields their 3 all-SEC receivers, as Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, and Devontae Smith can all be playing on Sundays around this time next year. Now here's a look at some of the bowl games going on tomorrow. Getting things started off in the morning, we have the Cotton Bowl at 11 o'clock on ESPN. Number 17 Memphis taking on number 10 Penn State. That should be a good one. Then the Camping World Bowl at 11 o'clock on ABC. We have number 15 Notre Dame taking on Iowa State. And then later on in the day, we have the big time ones, the college football playoff games, the Peach Bowl at 3 o'clock on ESPN. Heisman winner Joe Burrow. You also have Jamar Chase, the Biletnikoff winner, Justin Jefferson. Loads of talent in that game. Should be a high-scoring game. Number 1 LSU taking on number 4 Oklahoma. Oklahoma's quarterback, former Alabama quarterback Jalen Hurts. So we'll see what Jalen can do. He was a Heisman finalist as well. Then later on that night, Fiesta Bowl, 7 o'clock on ESPN. Number 2 Ohio State. They have the best pass rusher in the country, Chase Young, taking on the defending champs, number 3 Clemson, and Trevor Lawrence. So that one, it should be a fun one. That one's really a toss-up. I don't know who's going to pull that one off. Now it's some high school hoops over in New Hope in the Classic. South Haven taking on the Trojans. First quarter, Trojans ball. Caleb Park catches it, drives to the rack, hard finish. He makes a contested layup, getting the Trojans on the board early. But South Haven sticking tough. JT Chalmers driving kick to Marcus Harris. 3 ball is good. The Trojans will have a 1-point lead. Still in the first quarter, Parr. He swings to Roxhall open, R.L. Maddox. He says, give me all 1-2, 3 of those. The bucket's good. New Hope up by 1. Then New Hope on the fast break. Taylor Stevenson to Jalen Smith. Hesitation move, hard drive, right-hand finish. The layup is good. And New Hope, they go on to win. Final score, 74-67. They move on to 9-1 this season. Now here's some scores from earlier in the day. In the East Webster Christmas Classic, Noxubee County beating Starkville Academy 44-42. Tigers move on to be 7-7. Then Corinth, they bounced back from taking an L yesterday. They win 63-55 over East Iberville, giving themselves a 6-5 record. And then the Starkville ladies, they beat Horn Lake 55-49. Amaya Ford, big game, 20 points, 11 rebounds. Braylon Ferguson had a good showing as well with 12 points. And then the boys, they defeat Tupelo 74-60. Forte Prater, 27 points, 16 a second. Colty Young, 23 points.
Man, the Yellow Jackets really put it on my boys, didn't they?
They the 6A defending champs for a reason.
Man, I miss the good old days when Tupelo and Starkville used to be in the same division. We used to play each other twice a year. People would literally circle the game on the schedule each year.
You couldn't blame them.
Hey, good old days. Appreciate it, Chris.
No problem.
We'll have a last look at your forecast when we come back.
Sports coverage of the Music City Bowl is brought to you by OCH Regional Hospital and the Columbus Convention and Visitors Bureau.
The countdown to 2020 is officially on. Today, the Waterford crystal ball for the Times Square ball drop arrived for setup. Workers from Landmark Signs installed 192 new crystal triangles featuring this year's Gift of Goodwill. And in case you were wondering, the first time a ball was dropped from the flagpole at One Times Square was 1907, a long time ago.
You know, that really was, and I think it's been over a century since they've had the crystal ball there.
Yeah.
20 years since we had Y2K. I mean, you think about time flying.
Man.
Soon it's going to be 2050, isn't it? Hey, we got some rain and storms, especially into Sunday. Of course, those full updates are on your WCBI mobile app. Dry, though, for New Year's Eve.
All right. Thank you so much, Jacob. And thank you all for tuning in with us. We hope you have a wonderful weekend.